Good evening and welcome to Morphmom Moments. We are so excited because not only do we have an amazing guest tonight, but we are on the road. We are live from the Windy City. We're sitting in Chicago tonight. So absolutely thrilled to be with a great audience, a live audience, and Susan Hess, the founder of Golftini. Also here with my co-host, Seema McGrath, who also flew in from New Jersey this morning. So really excited that we have the opportunity not only to tell stories from home, but to travel around the country and share these stories as well. So before we get to our amazing guest, and for those of you who are new tonight and those in our audience who are probably wondering what you're doing here, I want to give you a quick explanation as to what you've gotten yourselves into. My name is Kathleen Smith, and I founded Morphmom about 9 years ago because I had been a prosecutor for a long time. I'd stopped to raise kids, and I had no idea what to do when it was time to go back. I couldn't go back to law. It was too hard. I'd been gone for too long. It was too expensive to keep up all those classes, but what do? That's all I knew. And you get very frustrated and defeated, and you lose your confidence, and you don't know what is even out there anymore. So after sort of realizing that I had to get my act together and figure out what to do, I thought, okay, the one thing I can do is I can interview, having been a prosecutor. So I decided I would go around the country and I'd find those women who had figured this out, who had figured out their next step, what they had to do, what steps worked, what steps most importantly didn't work. And then in turn I could share those stories with others trying to figure out what to do next. So over the last 9 years, Morphmom has really grown and it's really exciting. We've traveled the country. We have thousands of interviews from all over the country. And we share these stories through conferences and events and classes. And we now have a subscription club where you can join, and the live radio show that you're all listening to right now. And clearly you're going to want to hear this again, so it all goes up on an iTunes podcast tomorrow. But really it's all about connecting through the power of story. Those who have done it, share how they did it, and help those figure out how to do it. So basically that's Morphmom in a nutshell. So without further ado, so thrilled and excited again to be sitting in Chicago next to one of our favorite Morphmoms who figured out how to do it. Susan Hess, welcome.
Thank you. That's what they say in Chicago. Welcome.
And Seema McGrath, our co-host tonight, thank you for being here and flying out to Chicago.
Thank you for having me.
So what we were going to talk about tonight is, and Susan is the perfect example and can share her story, is how do you get that idea and bring it to life and bring it to the shelf? And that's what you did. We all have ideas. You've thought of something and say, God, this is missing, and I know if I could create it, this would be the best thing, and this needs to be here. But how do you make it happen? How does it all of a sudden show up and appear? And that's what you did. So as founder of Golftini, tell us about this and how you even came up with this idea and how you brought it to life.
It's so easy.
Well, we're done and it's a wrap. Isn't that great?
No, it actually was not a plan at all. I did not have a plan. And for anyone out there trying to start a business, I think a plan would be fabulous, but I don't think plans always work. What happened with me is I found a passion and I found a void, and I didn't plan to start a company, but I filled the void for me, and then I filled it for a few of my friends and a few more of my friends, and then of some of their friends. And what happened is I took up the game of golf, which I had learned as a kid, and I retook it up after I had my career as a salesperson, stayed home with my kids, and realized that I wanted to do something different, and so I went back to golf. I wasn't thinking work at this point, but I went back to golf and I got the bug, and I was playing a lot, and I was getting good quickly because I had played as a kid, and I realized I was like rushing from the golf course to go get my kids at school, and then it'd be 9 o'clock at night and I'm still in this like ugly golf gear, and I'm like, hey, this isn't gonna work. I'm trying to be fashionable in my regular life. Why am I looking like this after my golf game in my regular life? So I looked everywhere, I couldn't find anything. So I did not have a business background, I did not have a fashion degree. I never thought about going into merchandising, but I always loved fashion. And I think I do have a good knack of what looks good on people and what doesn't. And that just is a natural thing. My mom was stylish. I think I got that from her. But so I went to New York City. I'm from Ohio. I went to New York City to the garment district, which I didn't even know existed. But I just went to the street, and then I realized that you can really build a company in 8 blocks. You can buy every single thing you need for a company. So I went to this scary building. It's before text. It's 15 years ago. And I found a sample maker, and I took 2 skirts that I didn't like and said, this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. So she said, come back in a week. So I came back in a week, and she had made exactly what I wanted, because I don't sew. I can, but I don't. So anyway, I wore them on the golf course. Simple, like what I was looking for, black, little trim down the side, that's it. And my friend said, that's so cute, because everything at the time was really like a man's world in golf that was a woman's size. So they said, will you make us one? And so I said, sure. And that's where the 1 came to 2 and the 2 came to 4. And I realized I, at one point, made 20, and my friends came over to buy 1, and they bought 3 or 4. So I thought, okay, they're not just being nice. Like, they actually like it.
Now, I want to back you up a little bit here. So it was created. Someone saw it on you and said, I want that. At this point, are you thinking, I'm going to turn this into something, or are you still thinking,
No.
I just need clothes
No.
and this is something for me?
So at this point, it was just kind of fun, because I'd make one for someone else, and then I'd make another one for me at the same time. So it's kind of working out. But then someone knocked on my door and said, I heard you're making golf clothes. Can I sell them in a shop? And I said, sure. And then I realized I didn't have a label or a name or a hang tag or anything, and I was only making one at a time. So I went to a martini bar with my girlfriend, and this is where we say it all started on a napkin, because I was at a martini bar, and after a few, we were trying to name the company. And Golftini, we were writing stuff down, and Golftini came to life. And I still have that napkin. We drew out a little martini glass. I decided the logo would be low and left, and it would be light pink, because some of my other names were all about breast cancer awareness, which is my cause. And so we thought we'd put the pink there, but not have it be a part of our business, mine, and my friend at the time drinking with me. But we named it Golftini. And I went home and didn't Google it, because you couldn't do that then. But I looked it up, and no one had it. And I had labels made, because I needed a label. So pretty much everything I did was reacting to what I needed. So if I had a plan, and I do help other people, like I tell them what I did now, because I kind of did everything a little bit backwards, but in the sense of I needed it and I got it. So it was almost like faith and fear, like all in one, where I just was scared to quit, but I knew I could do it, and so I just kept going. And someone told me about this big PGA show. Now we're 6 months into this, running to the cities. People are calling my house phone. My kids are answering. Mrs. So-and-so from Echo Lake needs a blue plaid skirt on a piece of paper. Hello, this is Keegan Hess. Can I? Whatever. So anyway, so I went to this big, huge golf show, and I went for it. I went with my niece and my best friend, and we got a banner. We made some shirts. We took all the favorite skirts, and we got a huge order the first day, $70,000, which was crazy, which is still a huge order. That was huge 15 years ago. It's still huge now. And they were talking gibberish to me, they 1-1-2-2-2-2-2-1-1-1. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I kind of faked it till I made it, and people helped me and taught me. I didn't have production. I just had the one lady. I met a girl in the bathroom. She's like, oh, my husband's a production guy in New York City. I was in his office on Monday. He made it happen in 6 weeks. I had no money, no wherewithal, anything. This production guy kind of showed me the way, and I got on my way. And I've been running ever since. And every day I figure something out I needed to know the day before.
Oh, that's such a good one. And I love faith and fear combined. But I want to back you up a little bit. So all of a sudden you realize, okay, I need a name. I need to you
hang
become
tag.
an LLC,
Everything
like
comes with a
everything.
hang tag, right?
But how did you figure out what to, how did you make a label? How did you figure out where to even go to
Well,
do
in that little 8-block radius, there's a lot of things you can do in that 8-block radius. So I did produce in New York for 7 years, and I ran into Tory Burch's people, Vince's people, Theory's people, and when I say people, I mean they're interns that were in college sourcing buttons, and I'm like right with them. But like, that's all they did. And now I'm like, okay, I'm taking care of 3 kids, I'm building a company, I'm looking for buttons, and I have to be home by 3. So like, I was like on the go, like for a lot of years. I'm still on the go.
So the first time someone says, I want to buy one, had you thought about pricing? Had you thought about any of that, and how'd you handle it?
The first time someone said, can you make me one? I said, sure. And then they said, how much do I owe you? And I said, well, it costs $50 for the lady to make one, and the fabric was like $12. But I didn't count, now I know,
Right.
babysitting, my time, parking, everything else that goes into it. So, you know, then when I thought pricing, I know what I like, and I do like higher end people that belong to country clubs, which I was originally selling to. That was kind of my target market. Now it's expanded into athleisure, and people don't even golf and they wear them. They're skirts, so people wear them on vacation. They send me pictures. They're all over the world, and they love it. You know, it's totally changed in the last 15 years, and I've changed with it. But you know, I priced it a little high because it actually cost me more than I priced it for. But I didn't know all that at the time. And I didn't know like the wholesale, which you take half versus the retail. And so I learned all that. And then I got a sales rep, and then you have to take that percent off. But that changed the game when I got sales reps, and then they helped me grow, and they knew areas, because I was a salesperson. So I'm like, I got this part of it, but how am I gonna sell to 50 states and look for buttons? So that changed things when I had other people, and then I got to hire. At one point, it was really 2 of us for like the first 5 years, like in the office, and we were putting together like how to bill someone, and inventory, and buttons, and like just so many different aspects that I really didn't know what I was doing, but I just learned and asked questions, and people answer, and you know, if I needed something, I figured out how to do it.
So
I don't know.
I want to back up a little bit again. So somebody out there is listening saying, I've got this idea, it's ready to go. And I'm so inspired now that you didn't have this set idea, but you sort of responded to what you needed going along. But when you said like you had to figure out how to invoice or how to do all these things, like, but how did you figure that out?
Well, I'm also questioning, did your sales background help you at all?
I think so, for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I could sell my skirt, and I could sell myself to whoever I was trying to figure out how to do something. Like, so I looked at other brands, I asked a lot of questions. I look back at my product now, and it was okay. You know, I had one pattern, and it doesn't work for all fabrications. I know that now, for fit. So, you know, or those things my customers helped me. Like, they gave me feedback, good and bad. And you know, you gotta like take it, learn to take it, because not everyone's gonna love it. But you learn from that person that doesn't probably more than that person that does. And so you have to have kind of thick skin. And coming from a sales background, like people say no.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean no? But like my goal, what I say to my salespeople and to anyone is like 10 calls, you get 1 order.
You don't take things personally. You just
can't.
persevere.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's, I think, where the fear, and then I was so in it. I was like, this $70,000 order, I was like, I committed to this, and I had 6 weeks. And so I just figured it out. I figured it out. Like, I looked up, how do you bill someone, accounting wise, and QuickBooks popped up. So I ordered QuickBooks, and I really didn't have any money. So I was like, credit carding it. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy. Plus, I was going to every basketball game and baseball game and football game and making dinner and like crazy when I think back about it, actually. Insane, quite insane. But I think the passion and like anyone that wants to do something, because I have great ideas all the time about stuff that I want to do, and I'm like, okay, Susan, you're already doing something, stop. Like, just focus on this, because I think I could do another business like better and faster and quicker, because I know. But I do think that the passion that I have and the commitment to Golftini now is really my life. I love it. I love it. Like, I wake up and I love it. I go to bed and I love it. I get crazy and I love it. Like, it's who I am. And so I feel really, really lucky that I found this unknowingly at the time that I did. Because I don't even know what I would do now. Maybe one of my other ideas would be multi-million, and that'd be fantastic. But like, I just think those ideas that you have, and everyone has them. Like, they should do this. Why don't they already do this? And sometimes now you Google it and they're like, oh, someone already does that. Do that. But I think it's the passion and the commitment and like going for it.
Yeah.
Just going for it. And I think because I went for it, and I did have luck, like that first order, I was in the smallest booth at the back of this biggest trade show, had no idea what was going on. And they were going to the bathroom. So like they walked by my crappy little booth, and my stuff was unique and it was different at the time. And I've seen a lot of people come and go in this industry, and the people that had a plan and money and all that, they're not necessarily still in it. Now that would be a lot easier. I'm not like that's the right way to go, but I couldn't get ahead of myself.
Right.
So if I made a product, I'd make one in one color, test it, and if it worked, I'd add 2 more colors. Like I couldn't just go full on because I just didn't have the money. So, and I really never did. So I had to be cautious and make what I made really, really good, and then hope that it worked.
It's interesting you said that there were other people in this business that came and went as you've gone along. So would you say part of the magic ingredient to this is the passion behind it too? So you have this idea and you think it's a great business thing, and financially it's a great idea, but do you think that the passion is a huge part of that recipe as well? That loving this as well, or being so interested in it?
I think the passion is huge. I think the commitment might be bigger. Like my commitment to this passion, and then it really did become my livelihood. Where I was putting my kids through college, and like there kind of was no going back once I was like in it. And not that I would want to go back, but it pushed me further and harder to be better and learn. I learn every single day. I learned something today. Like that I needed to know yesterday. But that happens most days, but it's okay. I'm okay with it. And my business has now evolved. We just moved to Chicago in June, which has totally changed my world. I built a fabulous team here. We moved out of my house. I had vests in my bathtub on the 3rd floor. Like, actually, I had vests. There's a picture. And now we're in this warehouse space and building this team and proactively planning my company now after 15 years. It took 15 years. Like, I now have a strategy and a plan, which scares me because I've been running with the seat of my pants and it's been working. So like, I'm like, a plan, oh my God, right. A plan scares me.
Right. So you never had a business plan, and now you do.
So
15 years later.
So I bought a book on how to write a business plan, and I wrote one because my dad gave me a loan, a little one when I first started, and I did have paid him back this year. And it was for $50,000. It wasn't like huge amount of money, but I needed to buy fabric, and I spent all my money just to get to this show. So with interest. I hope you're watching, Dad. Anyway, but that taught me a lot too, and I couldn't get out of control because of the money situation. So I lost my train of thought. Oh, my plan. So I didn't have a so he made me write a business plan. So I wrote one for him, like not for me.
Right.
And at the time I didn't realize that I just needed the money, and I needed he wasn't gonna give it to me unless I wrote a business plan. So I wrote it, and then 8 years into my business, I applied for this 10,000 Small Businesses, which is fabulous. It's through Goldman Sachs. And the hardest thing was applying because everything had to be in order, like all my numbers, all my everything. And I got in, which was crazy. In a 16-week program, they sponsored me, and I was with 30 other entrepreneurs, and that's when I learned everything that I was doing right and wrong. And so since then, I know what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing every day. Not that you can necessarily live by that because it's a small company, you don't have enough people. But I learned a lot. And that's when I built a growth plan. And that was interesting, and it gave me a focus. But now I actually worked with a strategy person, and I actually have a real plan. Like that's not my wheelhouse, is the business side. So I got to the point that I could hire someone to actually help me with that. So I actually have a plan, and I'm excited to follow it because I'm a salesperson. So I'm like, I can get to that number, let's go. So that's where I can, like the budgeting part, that's for Joe, who's in New Jersey. But the sales part, I got it. So I'm confident this year that we can make this plan, but I've never had one to make.
But when you look back to that plan you made for your dad 15 years ago, is it still sort of on course with what you started out, or have you
The
gone
one
a
thing that
totally
I
different
learned
way?
in that plan was your number of dollars in sales to how much you spend. That was the one takeaway, that I knew that I like to run my business, it needed to be 30% of my dollar. And that was like a general thing. But
Wait, I need to learn that. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, do that again. I am so screwing this up.
No, you need to have cushion in the middle. You need to have profitability, and
That's what I'm missing.
Right.
The profitability.
Right. So I mean, you'll get there, and I'm getting there. It's 15 years. I'm still getting there. I'm still figuring it out, but I am understanding the business part of it more, and it's kind of exciting because I haven't ever not that I haven't cared. I haven't had time to even look at it. I'm just going,
Right.
and I'm a salesperson, so I can just get more sales. We need more money. I can sell more stuff, but that's not what I should really be doing. I should be focusing on design and my sales reps and all that, and that's great. That's that's a plan,
Right.
but that's not realistic. So in this Goldman Sachs plan, when I was with 30 other entrepreneurs, and they were every kind of business, but there were 30 of us, and we all had the same exact hardships and struggles. No one had enough time or money or people. And so it didn't matter if you were a dumpster company or an interior decorator or financial planner, we're all in the same boat. So that made you feel kind of good, and we still keep in touch. And that was just from entrepreneurs who are by themselves a lot. You're working late at night, you're alone. So those were people that we all felt the same way, and you had a connection.
So for those out there listening who want to get started and they're ready, what were some of the top tips you took away even from that program, or just in general, that you could share?
I think ask people. If you have a really good idea and you don't know how to do it, I met someone today, because Chicago, everyone's nice, and he's trying to start a business. He was at cryotherapy, and all of a sudden I give him his card, and he's like, I just need to do it. And I'm like, you need to do it. It was kind of my practice for tonight. And I go, you just have to ask. I go, I have production people. I can give you their name. And I think it's asking. And I think that's how I got here. From my production guy in New York that first got me on a path, and I'm like, where do I find a zipper? And he told me, and the zipper guy told me where to find a label, and the label guy told me where to find whatever. It all, and then someone would say, oh, you should go to this little regional show, and I met a sales rep, and then they know how much commission that I should be charging people. And then I learned a lot from everyone that I put in place. And everyone brought a little bit something to Golftini that I didn't know. So that's where we are today. This team I'm building, they're fantastic. And they all know something I don't know. It gets crazy when I think I know stuff. Yeah, it does. But, and because I like all aspects of it, but I don't have time to do it all. So I think asking, if you think about, you know someone that needs a job, you start asking people, hey, do you know, it's like that. It's like helping a friend out who needs a doctor, who needs something. Like, it's kind of the same thing. It's just asking, and you can ask me. Like, my cell phone number is. I'm just kidding. No, but like, I love to help people, and people help me, and I think that's why I'm here. It's people helping people, and what you're doing, when we first met last year, we knew that we could help each other. We didn't know how, but we just had a conversation, and here we are in Chicago doing this.
We made it.
We made it.
Now, what would you say is your biggest marketing tool?
My biggest marketing tool. Well, she just walked in the door. You know what? I have an online store, and then I have my sales reps, and they're out in front of the customers, so they're super important. Our marketing internally is, how do you relay that the skirt is like fabulous to the end user? So I think it's thinking about who you're targeting, and then think about that person and why would they open an email? What would be, like, why would you open one? And that's where I always say, I wouldn't open that.
Because they're super cute. Super cute. Golftini, where? Super cute.
And also, I think so versatile. So that's another thing. Like, how do you, because you sort of transcended, originally was just for utility purposes to wear on the golf course, but now, I mean, you could wear this out. You could, like, how do you then tell your clientele or expand the clientele to say, you may not play golf, but you could still wear this anywhere?
Right.
So over the years, it's evolved into more athleisure and on and off the course, and so we portray that. People will find it, and I've met with people that they don't even golf, and I'm like, what do you mean you don't even golf? I love Golftini, and they don't golf. So that's the fun part, and now the way we design is we're designing for on and off the course, and our tagline is, if you felt like an idiot at a bar at midnight in that outfit, then it doesn't make the cut, because it's happened. So, no, but I just think, in 15 years, everything has changed. People run around in their workout clothes all day, and it's acceptable now. And so we like to keep it classy. So we think about that and just where the market's going. And, it's just every day's a different challenge.
A lot of times, a lot of the women that we've interviewed who start something, all of a sudden it becomes successful. Something that they may not have expected, and all of a sudden then it becomes real and it becomes really scary. So you were saying that first order for $70,000, $70,000 worth. How did you feel about that? Was that scary? Like, people say sometimes success is much scarier than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, Sue just walked in. She was with me. She was my friend I was talking about that was at the first show, and we got this order, and like straight to the bar, like, now what are we gonna do? And then
now it's real.
Then the panic set in, like, we need to like order fabric, and we need to figure this out. So yeah, I think it's, I said earlier, like, faith and fear just like combined of, okay, this is scary, but you can do it, and so you just do it. I wish, like, I mean, I've written things down along the way, but like, it's more just one foot in front of the other and figuring it out with help of people, and just kind of going for it and not giving up, because it'd be easy to give up.
Yeah.
Some days I want to work at Trader Joe's, the name tag, and go home at 5 and not think about those apples that I just stacked perfectly, which is fabulous. But then I figured the girl next to me wouldn't be stacking her pears right, and I'd be stacking her pears. So next thing I know, I'm a manager of Trader Joe's, so I might as well stay with what I'm doing. So that's my analogy of when I get beat up, and it's hard. It's not easy. This feels glamour-y, but.
Right, behind the scenes, it's really, like, day to day. You wake up at, that 2 a.m. when you wake up and you think, oh my God,
and
this went wrong.
And it's daylight in China, and I have 100 emails. That 2 a.m. Yeah.
Oh,
So that's just like a lot, and that's where building my team and building my people has helped me have a life again, and focus on what's important and ask for help. Just
What would you say, so now everyone talks about sort of the obstacles that they dealt with and they had to overcome. So again, women out there listening, or anybody out there listening right now who wants to start something,
Mm-hmm.
would you share maybe a few bumps you hit along the way and how you dealt with them?
Well, I never had enough money to do what I wanted to do, but I had enough money to not get in trouble, like I mentioned earlier. Money's a big thing because no one wants to give you money unless you're proven. And
then how do you prove yourself without the money?
how do you prove yourself without the money? And so, like, trying to get a loan, it's hard. I mean, there are a lot of programs, small business programs, but honestly, they're still hard. If you have friends and family, that's probably the initial way to do it, which people said that early on to me, and, you know, you feel crazy asking for money, but you know, there's a lot of credit card debt, a lot of interest, a lot of just Peter and Paul and Mary and all the apostles moving money around trying to figure it out. But, you know, and I'm not there, but like I can breathe and I can sleep again. But it's just, I think, a commitment. And, you know, if you have a customer and a good product, then keep going. But I wish I had like a little book of answers, but I think learning things the hard way sometimes makes it stronger and better. Not that it's fun that way, but you learn a lot, and every like mishap that I had, like I learned from it, and I learned to not do that.
So going forward, so you've already sort of expanded originally, like we said, originally it was just on the golf course, and now through the years you've realized, you know, you can go beyond the golf course and where than if you're not a golf player. So what do you see in the future? Like, where do you see this going?
Good question. She said she was going to stump me. You know what? I do think that athleisure is the way, and it's a clothing brand and line that I think translates into other parts of life. I have 3 boys. They want me to do a men's line. It's a thought. You know, I think that there's a lot of opportunity. Like, you know, we've gone a little bit international, but we haven't really touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, you know, I'm staying, and this is what I did learn, like a big lesson, is at one point I started to go way off. I make printed and patterned skirts, and this man from Goldman Sachs, I said, I'm gonna make a jacket, and I'm gonna make this, and I'm gonna make pants, and he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. He goes, what is Domino's Pizza known for? And I'm like, I don't know, hot, cheesy, late night food? And he goes, no, what are they known for? And he goes, I go, delivery. And he goes, yeah, that's what they do, they deliver. He's like, you make skirts, stay in your lane. He goes, everything you do, marketing, everything you do, you should think about how are you marketing your printed and patterned skirts. You can have tops and jackets and all that, but that's what you're known for, so stay in your lane. And so since he said that, I'm like, you know, I get off on my tangents, and I'm like, okay, stay in your lane. So make those fabulous, and then add to it.
It's so hard though, because we were coming up with that idea, and like waking up in the middle of the night with all these other great ideas. So do you suggest maybe having that team around you that can sort of keep you in your lane? Or how do you assemble that group and trust those around you to give you that advice?
Well, we're all kind of a team. I was in California, and some girls were helping me like design, my friends. Like I was showing them what's up and coming. And one girl looked at me and said, how many people on your design team? And I went, 1, 2, 4. So, I mean, it's me and it's my team here. We don't have a design team like most designers have. But we all pitch in, and we know, and we get feedback from our customers, and so that's kind of our design team. We know what works, we know what doesn't work. But I'm kind of the one like leading the way in terms of let's stay in our lane, and we know what works. We know what works. So keep doing what works, and then test some other stuff.
Now, would you say your target market has changed in the last 15 years?
Well, it used to be 40, and 15 years later, it's 55. No, it was always like a 40 to 60, but now I'm 15 years older than when I started. So But I do think that 20-somethings wear it. I have a customer who's 88 and she's adorable and golfs every day and loves it. So, we keep that in mind. We've made, over the years, changes. People wanted 2 lengths, so we make 2 lengths. I started as a cotton company. We now have a bunch of fabrications. So we listen to what they want and react accordingly. If we can do it, we do it. And we can make changes fast, and that's what's fun. So, we get our inspiration for everything and everywhere. And I got one at a funeral, and it's going to be yellow and green, and its name's going to be Kara. But it comes from everywhere, and it's personal, and it's special. And so we name all our skirts. We have fun with that. We name the collections. And we just started giving that to our customer. We just always did it internally, but now we put it in the skirt. We market it that way. So every skirt has a name in it, and we're in Dark and Stormy because we're coming into the happy hour collection. But coming off like a more serious one. So we have a lot of fun.
So, again, those out there with an idea, and it's a product, and how do you navigate how you sell that product? Do you know, with Etsy, with virtual stores, with Etsy, with actual brick and mortar stores? Like, how did you navigate that and decide how you were going to distribute and sell along with online?
Well, originally I just thought I would sell in country clubs because that's who was buying it. And then some stores came into it, but I was never in like really big box at the beginning. Like I was in golf stores, but not boutiques. So now I'm in boutiques, but I didn't have online for like the first 2 years. You had to buy it in a country club. So now you can buy it online. But, where I think now is I think on vacation, people spend more money. Like it's fun to buy something new. So we focused on resorts, for a while. So I think you think of whatever your product is, where would you buy it? Like if my other idea is anyone can steal it because I really don't have time to do it. Dip of the Month Club. Love dips. I think it would be fabulous. I want to do it. I don't have time. But like, who would buy it? Like a monthly subscription and you get a dip. Anyone want to start that for me? No, but I think that you think how would you buy it? So like we're on Amazon now because everyone's on Amazon.
Right.
So we think like, okay, where would you buy it? If you wanted a pair of shoes, do you want to go to the mall? Do you want to buy it online? How do you want to see it? Do you want a video? Do you want an up close? Like how and where do you want this product?
Which I guess is a great message to anyone out there trying to start something, is figuring out how would I want to get that? Why would I want it?
Well, one thing is, okay, I sell skirts, and my kids thought that I invented the skirt, which is fabulous. They're boys. I'm like, I wore them when I was 5. But, I don't think you have to reinvent anything. It's just, you don't have to reinvent anything. I didn't reinvent it. I just made something that at the time they didn't have available. There's a lot of people that make beautiful golf clothes now, but like now we've built our niche. We have our market. Like at the time there wasn't. So there were golf clothes. It's not like, we just now sell them as boutique brand and exclusive, and people want that. So it's finding out what your customer wants, and that's where you ask your friends, like, what do you want? Like, I have solid black, I have wild prints, I have kind of something for everyone. And, your mood that day might be wild or solid. So, it's something that, it's not creating anything brand new, it's just looking at it differently.
I love the Rosé All Day. Latest, so fantastic.
And when you started this out, again, reaching out to those out there trying to figure this out, did you say, okay, I'm giving myself 3 years, did you give yourself a timeline?
No, I said to my family, I'm going to the PGA show, which was the big, huge show. And it was a big push to get ready for that and a lot of money and time. I said, when I get back, everything's go back to normal. Like, I'm done with this. And then I got a huge order. So now I'm like, okay, this is a new normal. So I didn't give myself a time, but I did get a break early, and that put me on the map to move forward. And since then, I've just been running.
Have you had any regrets along the way? Good answer.
You know, I probably, but I can't think of one right now. That my last collection was a reason, a season, a lifetime. Like everything for a reason, a season, a lifetime. So I looked at my life, and I really don't have any regrets.
So for those, we're on radio so you can't see, but Susan has a huge smile on her face when she talks about this, and I don't even know if you realize it. You smile all the time when you're talking about what you're doing, and you can see how happy and passionate you are about it, which is so exciting. But here's the thing: if you go to golf at Instagram, their Golftini, we've been taping this. You're going to be able to see that smile. Now we have a crowd tonight here, and we have only a couple minutes left. Does anybody have any questions for Susan?
Come on, girl.
Yes, we have a question in the audience.
Susan?
And the question is?
How has the whole trade with China changed some of your products?
Now, so the question was, how has the trade with China affected your
Just everything.
your business and distribution?
Great question.
I'm paying more money, but I'm not passing it on to my customer.
You what?
I'm paying more money.
But you're not having any trouble getting the product?
I'm not having trouble getting product.
But when you say you're not passing that on to your customer, is it a big hit that you're taking?
It's a hit, but it's happening to everyone. I'm looking into, I still do a little bit in New York, and I'm looking into some options if it gets crazy. So I do have plan F. I've used B, C, D, and E, but I have an option. I mean, it is a scary thing, and it was scarier now that it's happened, and it's just they've increased their taxes. It's just the way it is. So I need to look at my other 30% and figure out a way to maybe cut something and make that work without raising my prices.
And just again, for those who have a product.
Good question, Sue.
Good question.
Very good question.
For those who have a product, and if you